So my name's Patricia Goins with What's the Word? And we have Pat G. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What up? What up? What up?
Okay, so the questions before, we actually get into interview. So one of them is, what is your proudest moment?
Oh, my proudest moment.
Mhm.
Oh, is this a music thing or just in
It could be
life?
anything. It could be anything.
Um, you know what? I'll go with more recent. So I think one of my most proudest moments is I was able to go on tour last year, like maybe 4 different shows with Lupe Fiasco. So being able to open up for him,
God,
yeah, that was
that
pretty cool.
thing. Congrats on that. How was that?
Thank you. That was amazing. I've performed a lot of times, but
Yeah.
that whole experience just traveling
Hmm.
and then performing, it was different. You know what I mean? So that was amazing. It was a really great experience. I had a good time. A lot of the people that saw me perform are still rocking with me now and
Hmm.
still, listening to my music and sharing it and stuff like that too. So it's always really cool.
Because I know he's one of your favorite artists, correct?
Correct. Most definitely one of my favorites.
That's amazing. So who is your favorite Austin artist besides yourself?
Oh man, that's a good one too. Favorite Austin artist. I'm gonna go with Tribe Mafia. Yeah, I met them a couple years ago. It was like right after the pandemic, I think maybe 2022 or something like that. And we just like from the first time I met them, we just clicked and we just been doing. We done shows together. We perform together. They invite me to their sets. I invite them to mine. So yeah, Tribe Mafia, and they just man, they have a work ethic that's like second to none. They just work their tails off, and they're really, really, really good at what they do. So yeah, Tribe Mafia. Shout out to the gang.
Okay, so East Coast music or West Coast music, and why?
Can I go Midwest?
Midwest? Sure, yeah, yeah.
Let me go Midwest, cause mainly because I think that's how like I got my style from. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
old school Kanye West,
Mhm.
Lupe Fiasco, Common, those
Mhm.
type of guys. Like those are the type of people that I got like most of my style from and like my way of kind of rapping and stuff like that. So definitely Midwest. But if
Midwest.
I had to pick between East and West, it'd be East Coast, for sure. Mainly because you got some of the best lyricists out there for sure.
I hear a lot of East Coast sounding music too, so that's why I asked you that question because I was like,
Yeah.
favorite rapper turned actor.
Favorite rapper turned actor. How many do I know? Um, oh, that's a good one. You know what? I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but I'm gonna say Ice T because Ice T been on
Yeah,
Law and Order forever,
yeah. That's
forever,
that's a
forever. So
that's
yeah,
a good one. I mean, you got Will Smith, you got Common, you have Queen
true.
Latifah, you have Method Man, but I see he's good. He's good. He's good.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. Then I'm gonna go Method Man because I couldn't think of anybody's name off the top of my head, but Method Man for sure because he actually was in a movie just recently I saw and he was pretty good in it.
Yeah,
So he's been doing his thing. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I
He's
agree.
he's grown as an actor, but he's always a really good rapper. So
He's really good. Yes. Okay, so you're originally from Temple, Texas. I'm from Killeen, Texas. But
okay,
was a small city. How did growing up in Temple shape you as a person, especially musically?
growing up in Temple, you know, I never, I wasn't into rap. I wasn't into rapping whenever like in high school and stuff like that. I really kind of picked it up like later on in life. But I think there wasn't a lot of music around the area that I really, really saw. I think a lot of what I saw was like I grew up Pentecostal, so that's like where I saw like most of my music at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I saw drummers and organs and keyboard players and stuff like that. So that's I'd say the Pentecostal church is kind of what shaped my sound, I guess, when I first think of music. So yeah.
That's real. A lot of people, sound comes from like the first time hearing music for real is in the church. So, yes, that's good. Like because I feel like church, gospel music really shapes a lot of artists. So we just say that.
Hmm.
Um,
Most definitely.
so you graduated from Hudson Tilson University. Can you talk about your college experience and what it taught you about yourself?
My college experience. I actually started at. So I'll tell you my college journey. I started at Temple College when I graduated high school. I did a couple of semesters there, and
Mhm.
then I started like working full time. Right. So I started working full time. Then I was like making money. I was like, oh, I'm 19, 20. I was like, I never made this much money in my life before. So I was like working at the warehouses and stuff like that. And then after that, I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this forever, you know. So then I started. I went. It's like HEB, and I became a manager there, and then I ended up moving to Austin. So that's kind of like that was my segue into Austin, right? So they like helped me move out here and stuff like that. So then I went to ACC. So I
Mhm.
graduated with my associates from Austin Community College, and that was a great experience. I met a lot of really cool people there.
Mhm.
And then after that, I was like, you know what? Let me get my bachelor's in kinesiology, and that's how I ended up at Houston Tilson University. A shout out to the Rams. You know what I'm saying? I can't. My hands don't work right now, but still, yeah. But yeah, and so that experience was amazing. I honestly, I wish I would have went there all 4 years. To be honest, I really, really wish I would have went there all 4 years. So it only took me like 2 semesters or a semester and a half.
Mhm.
Well, 2 years basically to like really do what I need to do and graduate. So that was great. I love being around black people. You know what I'm saying? I love all people, but I love being around black people, you know?
Right,
And
yeah.
it was really cool. I mean, I've never seen people stroll and stuff like that prior to that, other than like in movies, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just really immersed in the campus itself and just the people, because it was like a smaller university, but the people are what makes it like popping. You know what I'm saying? And I had a great time. Honestly, I did, and I met a lot of great people there, people that are still friends to this day. And I ran track there too, so that was fun. But yeah, I love HT. HT's got a special place in my heart for sure. So it was a great time for sure.
The HBCUs, I went to PV, so yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like you said, Lupe Fiasco, Nas, and Lecrae are some of your favorite rappers. What is it about those artists that grabs your attention?
You know, I'm a lyricist. So there's rappers and
Yeah,
there's lyricists.
yeah.
I'm definitely a lyricist. Like I want what I say to make sense. I want it to actually be worth saying.
Mhm.
And anybody can rap, but not everybody can be a lyricist. And so I'm a I'm a lyricist. So obviously Nas and Lupe, Lecrae, Jay-Z, you know, I love Pusha T. He's a great rapper too. Just these rappers that I enjoy listening to and whatnot. Homeboy Sandman, definitely got a shout out to him. Homeboy, you probably don't even know who that is. One of the best rappers ever of all time, I guarantee it. But like, I love lyricists, and so what makes their music stand out is the content of what they're saying. Not only just that, but also how they say it.
Right.
Right. So it's like how they put the words together, how they make these. People call them bars or whatever, but it's like how you make your bars. How do you say something without being like lame with it? You know what I'm saying? Or like it's very unoriginal or unorthodox how they do things. So I just love that type of rap.
And that type of rap is needed because, now it's kind of getting crazy.
Yeah, it
Besides,
is. It is.
besides music, growing up, what is something that you aspired to be when you was younger?
Oh, a lawyer. Um, a lawyer. Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I forgot there used to be a show. I don't know if it was Matlock or something like that. Some old show
Mhm.
that I used to see. Like my mom and them used to watch it or whatever. But I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And actually now it's kind of funny that you said that, because I actually was, I got 2 kids now, and so dad life is kind of crazy. I got 2 kids under 4, and they're absolutely crazy, but I love them to death. And so now that they're getting a little older, and my daughter's about to be starting school, like pre-K 3 or whatever.
Mhm.
I actually was gonna potentially start um, studying for the LSAT so I can get into law school. So that's
Yes,
kind of something on the back burner there that I'm about to start doing, hopefully. Yeah.
guys, prayers to you. Like that,
Thank you.
that's good. That's good. That you'll get it. You'll get in.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
so your music is very inspirational and uplifting, given that a lot of artists don't make music that's inspirational and things like that. What makes you want to take that route and want to make that type of music?
For me, I mean, I'm a Christian, and personally, I feel like one of the, I feel like everybody has a gift or a talent that God gave us, when we were born. I feel like one of my gifts that I have is like being able to encourage people. And
Hmm.
so it's always been like my, I guess, thought process or my mindset to encourage people through whatever means that I do. Right. So I can do that through my music. That's the first thing. And, whether I'm coaching, whether I'm just doing like the little play dates in the community and stuff like that, because I have like a little Austin play date group or whatever that I kind of started or whatever. So for me, just being positive, because it's like there's so much noise out there, but not really like genuine music. And so I feel like if I can take the positive route, it'll help me stand out before anybody. People like the first thing that I hear is like, oh, I didn't really listen to rap, or I don't really like rap that much, but I like your music. You know what I'm saying? Or like your music really positive. Positive people listen to my music to like go out work out at the gym, or like people are like, oh, I listen to this in a tough part of my life or something like that. You know, like some guy messaged me one day and he was like, hey man, my song Fight On. He's like, the song
Mhm.
Fight On. He was like, I was doing chemotherapy and I listened to it and it helped me like push through some days when it were rough. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do what I do. Is like that. I want people to have some type of positive, clean music that they can actually listen to, and you know, they kids can listen to, they parents can listen to, their grandma can listen to, you know.
I love that. And you say you coach. What do you coach?
I'm a private football coach, so I do like private coaching, football. I do track.
Mhm.
I do like general fitness. So you know, if you want to lose weight, gain weight, run faster, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So I'm just I have a bachelor's in kinesiology, and my concentration is human performance. So that's what I do on the side too.
Okay, that's so cool. Um, so your EP, whatever it takes, that dropped in 2019, correct?
Yeah, that was my first second album actually. So I need to go update all this stuff,
Mhm.
but I have, so it went like this. I have a demo, like
Okay.
a demo tape out. That's kind of like where I first started.
Okay.
After that, I dropped my first album, A Different Perspective,
Okay.
right? And then after that, I dropped my EP
Okay.
called The In Between,
Okay.
which was like in between the first and second. So I thought that was clever, but I guess you know it is what it is. But and then my second album was Whatever It Takes, and
Okay.
then just recently last year I dropped my EP called oh my goodness, I'm
Do it
blanking on
again?
it.
No, not do it again. Talk
Um,
to me nice.
Yes. Oh my god, I went blank on my own EP. Yeah, but Talk to Me
Okay.
Nice. So that's how, yeah, that's my latest EP. And so yeah.
Um, so in the EP, whatever it takes, you that dropped in 2019. When I listened to the first song, I immediately thought of like Lauryn Hill, like with the first song with the kids talking. Um, did that inspire the beginning of that record?
Oh, most definitely. Because
Okay.
I was in Temple actually. So I came back to Temple to perform,
Mhm.
and I can't remember their names, but it was like three girls that were there at the community event or whatever. And
Mhm.
they were like, oh, you know, we want to introduce you or whatever. So they literally introduced me, and then I came up on stage and performed after that. So when I saw the video, immediately I was like, yo, I'm gonna put this in a song. You know what I'm saying? It just worked out perfectly. So
That
they
was
didn't
so
even know.
fire. I was
Yeah, they
like,
didn't even know.
Lauryn Hill. Oh my gosh, it was so fire. So I want to talk about your recent song, "Do It Again." I really like that song because it has like a jazzy feel to it.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through the process behind making that song?
Yeah. So after I dropped my EP last year, you know, Talk to Me Nice, I really decided to get away from like trying to do bodies of work. I'm a little old school. I like albums, I like actual bodies of work, but then I also realized like the way that people consume music right now is so quick, and like they have such a short like attention span. So I was like, you know what? And it also takes me a little while to write stuff and get it out. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start putting out more music. So I actually heard the beat a long time ago, maybe about a year ago, and I was like, man, this sounds like the intro to a album. It sounds like the intro song to what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And so I wrote the song because I was like, you know what, I've done this before, I can do it again. You know, and that's kind of like the inspiration behind the song. And so I wrote it, and I was like, you know what, I want to start dropping this stuff more often. And so I just dropped it, and that's how it came about. But the song itself is just really like lyrically, I'm just like, man, I've been here before. Like I've started this, you know, and I've released music, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna continue to do what I've been doing. I'm gonna do it again. Like my pen motivated you once, I'm gonna do it again. So that's kind of how it worked out.
Yeah, beautiful song, beautiful song.
Thank you.
So I really like your beats. Your beats are really dope. You have like a lot of DJ scratches and jazz sounds, like I said. Do you listen to a lot of jazz or old school hip hop? And how do you create or come across the beats for your songs?
Good question. You know, you just reminded me too. So when I was younger in Temple,
Mhm.
probably like anywhere from like 16 to like 20, like my uncle was staying with us for a little while, and he would listen to like jazz, like music, old school stuff. So the stuff, you know what I'm saying, they play at the barbecue, you know what I'm saying? He's always barbecuing anyway, but you know, my uncle would always play these old school joints, and I'm just like, man, like riding with him in the car or whatever. He taught me how to drive too a little bit, so I gotta give him props for that. But so like I would listen to those old school jams, those old school songs like the Michael Jacksons and the Temptations and other artists I can't even name right now, but they old school, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so that also shaped my sound and like what I'm listening to and what I look for. And then my dad, um, when I meant to go see him like a couple years ago in Chicago, he had like these like crates, like this big old, those small crates. He had probably well over 100 different records,
Wow.
right? And so like just like old school, they probably worth some money. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they probably worth some money. But it's like that is kind of like what shaped me. And I'll throw this in there too. This is something I don't really tell a lot of people that I forget to tell people, but I also played the cello. So I played the cello. I haven't played it in years. It's probably been, it's well over like 10, 12 years that I played it, but I played the cello in high school and in college a little bit. And
Mhm.
so just like live instrumentation is what I look for
Mhm.
in my beats. You know what I'm saying? So you say like, oh, I hear the jazz sound. I like the, you know what I'm saying? I'm always looking for like live instrumentations. I don't really, I'll do the synth stuff or whatever, like the fake stuff or whatever. But it's like I'm always looking for live music when I listen to my beats for
That's
sure.
oh my gosh, cello. You play the cello? Okay.
Yeah.
You speak a lot about God and how important he is in your life. Can you talk about how important your faith is to you?
Yeah, my faith is extremely important to me. Um, I'm always trying to do the right thing. We don't always do the right thing, but through Jesus, I know that I can do all things through Him, right? And so, just having that faith, and the world we live in right now is, uh, I think it's always going through. We're always going through something, right? But it's like I don't see how people live their life without Jesus. I don't see how they live without God. I don't see how they live without him. So I couldn't do it. Right. So my faith is extremely important to me.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
man, love that. Love that. You have a Be Relentless clothing brand. Can you talk about how that came about? The idea.
Yeah. I have an unreleased song.
Okay.
And trust me, I don't. Some artists will be like, I got a vault of music. I do not. I'm write music and I release it. I really don't hold on to it a lot. But I do have a song that I have. And at
Mhm.
the end of the song, it actually inspired me to write like the album, whatever it takes.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think of the lines. Marvel like the Black Panther. Okay. Anyway, I said something about be relentless at the end of it,
Mhm.
and at the end of the song, and then the last line is like to do whatever it takes or something like that. So that's like be relentless and whatever it takes kind of just stuck with me. And I don't know what it was about at that time in my life, but be relentless just stuck with me. And so basically we just put it on some shirts. I
Mhm.
should have wore it today, but we just put it on some shirts and then start, printing them out and stuff like that. And people just ate it up. I think I've sold out of my trunk at the time, especially when I was dropping them like regularly, I sold well over 300 pieces of merch out of my trunk, like legitimately for
Yeah.
sure. Like
Wow.
I was moving, like people got hoodies and shirts and tank tops, hats. Like I definitely try to move it. And I don't know, at that time in my life, whatever it takes is an inspirational album. I feel like, and
Mhm.
so at that time in my life, like that's where that concept came from. Like I needed to do whatever it takes. And so I just dropped the Be Relentless brand and it's been rocking ever since.
Okay. Wow. See, just having a dream will get you far. Just pushing out there. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
backtrack a little bit. I know you said you went on tour with Lupe Fiasco. How did that happen? How did that come about? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so it just so happens that I I'm in this like rappers guild called Sosa.
Hmm.
Now around like 2019, 2020 or 2018, 2017, 2018,
Hmm.
Lupe had this thing on his social media and it was like, apply here or whatever. Like, I'm starting a rappers guild. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna apply for it.
Hmm.
And at the time, I feel like I think I started rapping like in 2010 ish, but I didn't
Hmm.
take it as like serious back then. It was still more of like, oh, I'm just kind of writing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, in around 2017, 2018, when I was at Houston Tilson University, so I was at HT, and I just applied for it. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just sent in my information. I had to do a essay. I
Hmm.
had to spit some bars,
Hmm.
and then I had to like answer these questions and stuff like that. So I ended up getting into that, and like it was just kind of crazy. I was at work one day. I was working at 24 Hour Fitness, and somebody called me unknown, and so I answered it. And then this lady named Nikki Jean, she called, and then she's kind of. I remember just listening to her, and she was like talking to me. She's like, "Hey, so we saw your application through Sosa, da 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 da." I don't even remember what she said, but she said something Lupe Fiasco.
Hmm.
Next voice I hear is Lupe Fiasco, and I'm just like, Oh snap! I'm trying not to geek out. You know what I'm saying? Because like this is not only is he like my favorite rapper, but I also consider him one of the best ever to do it. So that's it's like two things where it's like you might have a favorite, but you also have like people
Mhm.
that you feel like are the best. And so ended up getting Sosa. Sosa is like a program. It's like a whole like college course program thing. We had
Mhm.
to turn in assignments. We had to turn in essays. We had to turn in raps and stuff like that. And I made it in Sosa, and like now I'm a journeyman. And so actually in a couple years I'm gonna have to turn in this like master assignment too. So it'll be cool to kind of do that. But that's in the future. But anyway, long story short, I've always tried to like get in with Lupe and stuff like that, but it kind of fast forward to like last year. My uncle just so happens to know some people that are in his camp and stuff like that. And I was able to like go on tour a couple dates with him and stuff like that too, and then hopefully one day I can go on like a full tour. But those
Yeah.
4 dates were amazing. It was like Cleveland, Columbus, LA was crazy. LA was crazy. And what was it? San Francisco. So like I would love to go back to those places and perform, but also just do a whole tour with him, 20, 30 cities or something like that. So it's kind of happened last year. And we made some phone calls and sent some texts and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, I'm performing and opening up. So it was a really cool experience.
Wow, I love that story. I love that story.
I
That's
know I try to get I say long story short, but I'm gonna give you the long story. You know what I mean?
Listen,
So
I love it. That's amazing. So Talk to Me Nice EP. It sounds like you were, Poppy Kala in the EP, like talking your stuff. Can you
yeah.
talk to me about the themes around that album and also how'd you come up with the title of that EP?
Yeah. So I try to let things kind of happen organically, but the first song on there is called Let's Go.
Mhm.
And I think the first line on there is like, talk to me nice. I ain't gonna say it twice. I raised the bar, then I raised my price. Get it right. And so I think that song itself kind of set the tone for the rest of the EP, but it's like I wanted to come in a little bit more boisterous, more like, hey, like, don't forget Pat G. Like, I'm one of them ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really him. Like, let's go. Like, what we talking about? So it was like, talk to me nice just kind of came up because that's like the first line that I actually wrote. And so it was like, talk to me nice. And it kind of just made sense for the rest of the EP to kind of shape what was going on. The only song, so let's see, let's go. Um, you got Honest Conversation, you got Spectrum, Nobody, and then what was the fourth song on there? Oh my goodness, I'm going blank. Let's go. What was the other song on it? Anyway, basically, I gotta put up on Spotify right now or something here. Let me see.
Fourth
I'm laughing.
is Nobody, and then Honest Conversation.
Yeah. Let me see. There was another song I'm missing though.
Down, Spectrum.
Down. Oh yeah. Down. Okay. Down. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So I'll kind of go down the list actually. So Let's Go is kind of like my hype song. I feel like that was like my like let's go, like let's go, let's go. It's like a hype song. I feel like it was like I could see it being played in like football stadiums and stuff like that. Like let's go,
Yeah.
let's go, let's go. So that's why I kind of like that chant vibe and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
And I'm slick talking on that one as well.
Hmm.
Um, and then down is actually a song that I had released previously, but I felt like it kind of fit what was going on with this. And I performed in Toronto before. So I performed in Toronto, Canada.
Hmm.
And I met these MCs called Wild Prophets. I met them in Canada. And so we, of course, they were really cool. I think, shoot, we still talk to this day, you know what I'm saying? So we were all cool together and stuff like that. So they're from the East Coast. And so we have a song together with them. So I got the first verse. You got Louis the Prophet, and you got Wolfman on the back end on the verse. So that was a really cool song. It's just like on some real hip hop stuff,
Yeah.
real hip hop. The next song is called Spectrum.
Hmm.
That's actually my cousin on the hook. So my cousin Sarah Day. Yes, she lives in Colorado and she's a great, great artist. I actually feel like she sounds like Lauryn Hill a lot because she can play the guitar. She sings really well, right? And I sent it to her. I had the verses for that written a long time ago, like years actually. And I was like, man, I need a hook on this. I sent it to her. She sent it back, and that's what it came out to be. So Spectrum is one of those songs that I feel like wouldn't resonate with people, but it resonated with people. Everybody was like, yo, that's my favorite song, or like that's the one that stuck out to more than any of the other songs on there.
Hmm.
um nobody nobody was inspired by Lupe, because Lupe Fiasco used to rap on beats like that all the time,
Hmm.
all the time. And so I was like, let me do my, not necessarily an impression of Lupe, but like I'm gonna go in lyrically with this one. And there's so many different lines in that song right there. I could talk about those all day, but like I went crazy with that whole song. Nobody. And then Honest Conversation was a song that I wrote over like a couple of months, but I was kind of going through like a breakup and stuff like that, and just one of those times where I felt like people were trying to do me dirty and stuff like that. So I just kind of felt like I just talk about have an honest conversation, like you know, I might actually do an honest conversation like 2 or honest conversation 3, and just kind of continue it on down later on in life where I'm just rapping. I'm just rapping about what's going on, how
Yeah.
I feel, you know, and so that's the whole EP. Talk to Me Nice, and I actually shot that album cover or the EP cover. I shot that in New York last year when I was in New York.
So I was
Yeah,
like,
so that's pretty
this
cool.
is not Austin. I was trying to think because I was still in
Yeah,
the area. So I was like, where's this at? I was like, it has to be
yeah.
like East Coast New York. That's
It
cool.
was. Yeah, and I'll tell you a story about that real quick too. So I actually shot that by myself on my phone. So
Mhm,
I just edited it to make the colors kind of pop a little bit.
mhm.
But I was like, I wanted to have like a telephone booth type thing or like a
Yeah.
payphone. And there's not really many out here. And I went through Austin. I did go through Austin first, but there
Okay.
wasn't any like good payphones out here that were actually legit, like good spots to take pictures. And
Mhm.
so I ended up going to New York for the first time, and I was like, you know what? I know there's got to be some type of payphones or stuff like that out here somewhere because they're actually like historical landmarks in New York, I think. And so I found one. I couldn't find anybody to take the picture for me.
Mhm.
So there was like construct. So it's like the payphone, there's a
Mhm.
sidewalk, and there's some construction. I
Mhm.
literally like had to take my phone. I like set it up like this. I set it up, and then I have like this little pin thing on my phone that I use. This little like S Pen for Samsung users. Shout out to Samsung, you know. And I literally just like you can't see it in my hand, obviously, but I'm on the phone or whatever like this, and I just clicked the button, and then I took the picture like that, and I went back and edited it afterwards, and then that's what it came out to be. So
Fire.
yeah,
Fire.
yeah,
See, I do yourself.
yeah. No, for real, that's relentless, you know.
Improvise. So we're going to do explain the lyric next. So basically, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take some of your lyrics. It's just 3 lyrics from 3 different songs. I want you to just explain, like, what you meant, by
Mhm.
the wording of the lyrics.
This
So,
might be my favorite part. Yeah.
okay, the first one is who gonna stop me? Who gonna pop me? Nobody. Send the addy, and I'll address the situation.
Okay. Okay. Um. So that's from the song Nobody.
Mhm,
And it's so funny that you asked that because what I actually was doing, my friend is like she was like I met her at HC. She's one of my best friends actually. Like I know her son, like she cool with my kids, like we it's one of my best friends. And like we'll always talk mess to each other, but I'll be like, I literally would say that like who gonna stop me? Who gonna pop me?
mhm,
Nobody. You know what I'm saying? And she'll be like before I say nobody, she'll be like me, you
mhm.
know what I'm saying? So I feel like I gotta sneeze, sorry.
No, you're good. Well, you guys.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So that's how that came about. And so literally this song it just happened to fit it perfectly. So I was like, who gonna stop me? Who gonna pop me? Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody. And so when I was on tour, I actually was improvising a little bit. So when
Mhm,
I was on tour, like the hooks playing is like, who gonna stop me? Who gonna pop me?
mhm,
Nobody. Nobody. I actually was pointing at people in the crowd. Is it you?
mhm,
Is it you? Is
mhm.
it you? And people love that. They were like, oh my God. Like they were going crazy for it. So it was cool. So yeah, that's so not much more to it than that, but it's just like
Okay.
something that kind of sounds like, aggressive. And then you said the
Okay.
other line was,
And I'll address the situation.
oh yeah. I said, I hate so I love alliteration. I
Mhm,
love that, like like as far as like just alliteration or whatever. And
mhm,
so I was like, I hate dress for the occasion. If you hate and send the addy, I'll address the situation.
mhm,
So that was kind of just me playing with the words at that point. I actually literally don't like dressing. I actually don't like, it's like turkey dressing and stuff like that. I actually don't like dressing. Like literally, I do not like dressing. So I said that, but like people may have not really truly understood. But I was like, I hate dressing. And then I was like, dress for the occasion.
yeah,
If you're hating, send the addy. I'll address the situation. Jot
okay.
it down on my
Okay.
calendar when you. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
I can the lyric breakdown. That's my favorite
okay.
part right
I was
there.
like,
Yeah.
is she talking about a fight? I was like, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's like, it's like lyrically, it's like I hate, what I'm saying, send the addy, I'll address the situation. So it's like me being more boisterous in my lyrics and more like, you can even listen to Nobody and listen to Do It Again. You can tell completely the tone is like completely different than both of those songs, right? So yeah.
Okay, okay. So the second song, second lyrics. Damn
Yeah.
my character, you couldn't make a dent. Funny how we were good as long as I paid your rent.
I know you were gonna use that one too. So if you listen to that song, I'm actually talking about multiple instances in
Mhm,
multiple people.
mhm,
But in that particular part, I'm actually referring to like my ex, and
mhm,
like we had a pretty tumultuous like breakup and stuff like that. And at
mhm,
one point in time, and for the record, we're good now. Like we share a child together. We're co-parenting and stuff like that. We're good now. So don't get me wrong on that. But it's like at the time when I wrote the song, we were not.
mhm,
And previously like we were living together and stuff like that. And I exactly what I said. I was paying her rent and stuff like that, and I wanted to marry this woman at one point in time, and it just did things just didn't happen that way. But that's kind of how that turned out, and it's like I felt like she was trying to damage my character, but it's like you can't do that. You didn't make it dent. But I was paying your rent at one point in time, so that's kind of how that came about. Um, so yeah, that's where that came from. The breakup, a breakup, and the whole everything after that too. It was about the breakup. So yeah,
okay. Okay. The last one is gather around. We bought out half the town, and the cap and gown. Class clown. Look who's laughing now.
yeah. That's on Do It Again. So like gather around. We brought out half the town. The cap and gown, class clown. Look who's laughing now. So that's just like me stacking some rhymes together. But
Mhm,
at the same time, I'm like I've always looked at it like gather around. We brought out half the town, so it's just really cool to see like whenever we go perform and stuff like that, we can bring people out and like see people together and stuff like that. So it's like gather around, like hey, everybody gather around. We brought out half the town. We like got all these people here.
mhm,
The cap and gown class clown. So like I graduated from Houston to listen
mhm.
class clown. I consider myself pretty funny. I'm a funny guy. You know what I'm saying? I may not, but I'm not necessarily a class clown, but like I have my moments where I'm funny and whatnot. So that's what I'm saying. Look who's laughing now. So just kind of piggybacking off of that line. So class clown laughing. Yeah.
So this is my last question for you. Do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. So I kind of changed like I said, I changed the way I release music now. I've actually released 3 different singles in last 3 months, 2
Mhm,
months. So yeah, so I have an old song. I had an old song called "The In Between." It's not on streaming platforms, but I released it on streaming platforms because it was a song that everybody loves. And once again, that was an intro to my EP, but everybody loved the song, so I released it on streaming platforms.
mhm,
So "The In Between," and then after that, I dropped "Always You" featuring Drent.
mhm,
He's an artist out here in Austin, and then I just dropped "Do It Again"
mhm.
last month in May. So this month, this is my birthday month. So my
Happy
birthday actually on
birthday!
yeah, thank you, thank you. My birthday's on Monday actually.
Okay.
And so I'm dropping a song called Hope.
Mhm,
And this is one of the songs that I performed on tour
mhm,
and everybody loved this song when I performed it. And I'm excited to drop it. I'm gonna release it. I want to actually shoot a video to it as well. So I'm extremely like I really, really wanna like push this one like really, really tough. So my next single will be called Hope. It'll
mhm.
be dropping sometime this month in June. Maybe towards the end of the month, we gotta get the video shot and stuff like that. Um, and then I'm also dropping, I've been doing rap practice like videos and songs and stuff like that. So I have a rap practice dropping probably on my birthday on Monday as well. And then I'm gonna also push some social media content for my song called June Baby.
Okay.
And of course I had to drop the June Baby because I'm a June baby, you know what I
Maybe.
mean? And pretty obvious why. But that song was inspired by like Lil Rob Summer Nights. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Lil Rob Summer Nights is a classic song. I could never touch that one. That's a classic song. But June Baby was like kind of like my rendition of that. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, you know what, this is a good little summer bop or whatever. So play this in the car when you're driving and stuff like that. So yeah. So I hope rap practice, and then we got some ads and stuff like that for June Baby and everything. So yeah.
I am super excited to hear all of it. Pat G, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me.
Check it out, check it out, check it out.